Well, well, well. If it isn't Mark, our defending champ, he led off the beer relay, got rewarded with the third overall pick. What does he do with it? What does he do with it in this draft? Well, he starts off keeping Amon Ra in the second, and good thing he won that beer relay because instead of keeping Amon Ra maybe with the worst pick towards the end of the second round, or sorry, towards the beginning of the second round, he gets to keep him at the end of the second round, which is pretty good. Amon Ra usually goes in like this 5 to 8 range, so to keep him at the 210, it's good value. It's a good value, and then he gets Jefferson right off the rip. So he starts wide receiver, and then what does he do from there? Takes Josh Allen at the three. Aaron Jones is taken as his RB1. Rashi Rice, he said he reached on him, but I think it's actually a good pick if it looks like he's not going to be suspended. So he gets Rashi. Zamir White at the RB2, Keon Coleman, Hollywood, Zach Moss, Chuba Hubbard, Dalton Schultz, TJ Hawk, Adam Thielen, and Tank Bigsby. Um, let's see here. Best pick, Justin Jefferson at the 103 is like, I mean, if he had a better QB, he would be going ahead of CD, ahead of maybe CMC still. Like, everyone forgets, last year, everyone took Jefferson ahead of CMC just because he had Kirk Cousins throwing it to him. Like, I think he makes it work with any quarterback. I think maybe Darnold is talented enough. Darnold might throw 2 interceptions a game, but he also can still target Jefferson 15 times for 120 yards and a touchdown. Um, and I don't think they have any other options. So I think Jefferson's a really good pick at the 103. Didn't overthink it and get cute. Um, Rasheen the fifth, I'll give him credit for that one. He reached on it. He knew he wouldn't get back to him at the 6'10", and he said, I'm just going to get him. If no one, if he doesn't get suspended, Rashee Rice is your third wide receiver is a very, very, very strong, very, very strong pick. I like the Keon Coleman as the wide receiver 4 as well, with the 7th round snag. I think that that's a good pick. Worst pick, I don't get the Aaron Jones love. Um, I just figure last year on Green Bay, that's a better offense. He was hurt in and out. He's getting older. Um, and I didn't really see the Vikings feature just one running back last year, so I don't know why they would do it again. He's got a really prolific fantasy history. I feel like this could be a thing where he's getting old. The QB injury makes the Vikings never really be in the red zone, and having him as your RB1 is like scary. Um, so I don't know. I just would have went a different direction there. I would almost feel better about like Montgomery as my RB1. He waited long on running back, so he was going to have to do something about it at some point. Maybe the play was to take a running back instead of taking Josh Allen. Maybe he could have grabbed Cook. I think I would have liked that strategy better. Go Cook and then, wait on quarterback. But since he went early with Allen, he gives up and he has the strength of quarterback. He gives up the strength at running back, and Aaron Jones is RB1. So, what's he strong at? Wide receiver QB. Obviously, kind of already talked about that. What's he weak at? This is the weakest team at RB in the whole league. I don't think that that's controversial at all. Maybe Coop's team will wind up being worse. But this team and Coop's team, if you look at them compared to everybody else's running backs, um, there's a sizable gap for this team to make up every week at running back. And so are his receivers and quarterback and tight end good enough to do that? I don't know, because tight end's also a weakness for him. So that's what has me skeptical. Say he had Josh Allen and an elite tight end and Jefferson and Amon Ra, and Rashi as his wide receiver 3, I'd say, okay, you get a pass for Aaron Jones. Like, this can still be a good team. The fact that he's going to go into every single week with a disadvantage probably at tight end and a disadvantage at running back, and I know what he's going to say. He's going to say, well, Hawkinson's coming back. A tight end off an ACL tear with Sam Darnold throwing the ball, that's not someone I'm excited. And I'm not going to pretend to be excited and like you're going to have an advantage at tight end every week with that. So he's got 2 strengths and then he's got 2 weaknesses that are pretty pronounced. What's the best case for this team? What's the best case? Jefferson could be the wide receiver 1, while Allen is the QB 1. Amon Ra could be the wide receiver 3 or 4. And you just have those first, if you just look at his first 3 picks, that could take you very far. Rashee Rice could also be like a top 10 receiver. So this team could realistically have three top 10 receivers and the QB1, right? Like that's the ceiling. And maybe Aaron Jones and Zamir White fall into the end zone a lot. I don't know. I don't really see that happening, but that's like I'm talking best case scenario. Like I said, what's the best case, right? What's the ceiling? Worst case is kind of like I was alluding to. The worst case is he just can't overcome having the worst running backs in the league. Like even if Josh Allen smashes and rushes in as many touchdowns as last year, even if Jefferson isn't affected by Darnold, even if Amon-Ra repeats what he did last year, whatever, they're putting up 60, 70 points a game. Is he getting on average 15 points from his RB1 and RB2 combined? Is he getting from his flex Keon Coleman and Rashee Rice able to make up for the fact that when he plays someone with two good RBs, their RBs are scoring 45 and his are scoring 16? I don't know. That's the worst case, right? And the tight end isn't going to help him really get there either. I don't think on most weeks. So I'm giving this grade. This was a fringe one for me. It's in the tier 2, but it's the lowest of the tier 2. So it was almost a tier 3. I'm splitting hairs. It's a B minus. Just because I feel like when you nail your first 3 picks so well, it's hard for me to give a worse grade. And then, well, I think he nailed his first 4 to 5 picks, right? So when you nail your first 4 to 5, it's hard for me to give you a worse grade than like a C or a B. I think he has a little like sneaky upside later with like Hollywood and Keon Coleman, and like he did draft Chuba, who maybe can fill in that RB slot. So like it was hard for me to go lower than a B, but it was hard for me to go much higher than a C. So I'm right there, B minus. He's the last team out in tier 2, which is code 4. I think that if everything breaks right, maybe you could get to the championship. I think you're going to be the 6, 7, 5, 8 seed somewhere in there. B minus for Mark. He's he snuck himself into tier 2 of the rankings.